Ooh, budgets. Good evening. Welcome to the Cherry Red Record Stadium, Plough Lane, home of the world famous Wimbledon. Great to see everyone back here. Thank you for joining us this evening for tonight's Meet the Manager event with the brilliant Johnnie Jackson. He'll be joining us in a minute. Just on what we're going to be getting up to tonight, we're going to have a little chat with Johnnie first, then we'll be taking some questions from the floor. We've got some questions from supporters who can't make it. They're watching on YouTube. Hello to you out there. The bar's going to be open. Crack on, do your thing over there. But yeah, please do stick around because it's going to be a fun evening. So ladies and gentlemen, please, big round of applause for your manager, Johnnie Jackson. Can I just say, my idea for putting the table on the bridge was not good. It's like the bridge over the River Kwai.
Hello, everyone.
Watch out, John.
Oh
Watch
God,
out.
this is a health hazard.
This genuinely is. This genuinely is. How do you want to do it?
I think I'll just stand.
Yeah, we'll perch. Johnnie, welcome back.
Thank
Season 23-24 is upon us. Are you okay?
I'm all right.
I'm worried. Are we insured for this? Genuine. Thank you again for joining us this evening. Great to have you back. How's your summer been?
Really good. Yeah, really good. Had a good break. I had a cut probably a week or two where went away with the family. Little time to sort of relax, reflect, and then back to it. It's been a really busy summer. Planning. Obviously that had already started at the back end of the previous season, but a real summer of hard work, planning, a lot of phone calls, a lot of meetings with those guys at the back there, Kobe and Terry, on the phone a lot. Probably got sick of the sound of each other, to be honest, by the end of it. But we got a lot of good work done, so it's been a good summer.
Talking about reflection, by the way, you look very uncomfortable and very nervous.
I'm all right.
Just get yourself comfy because it's going to be a long night otherwise.
Cool.
I never did woodwork at school. I did like Latin and stuff. But okay. Just on reflection, have you had time to sort of bury last season at the back of your mind?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, obviously done a lot of self-reflection and what I needed to do going forward, what we needed to do as a football club, some deep dives, a lot of conversations. But obviously came back with a fresh mindset. We addressed last season in the very first meeting that we had as a group. With the players and the new players, and we said after this meeting that we don't speak about last season and the past again because learn the lessons, but now we have to look forward, and we're all sort of super excited and positive about the upcoming season. One
more from me. If you want to hear more from me, by the way, the official AFC Wimbledon podcast available on Spotify. Anyone listen to it, by the way, just out of interest? Is it any good? Really? Is it bad?
Heckler.
Send a complaint in. Go on. manny.dacklin@afcwimbledon.limited. The official podcast available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you get podcasts from, Acast, you name it. And believe me, we've got a big one coming this week. It is going to be an absolute corker. One more from me. A plethora of new signings, new faces in the building. This could be an exciting season, couldn't it?
Well, we're really excited about it. Like you say, a plethora of new players, whatever that means.
Solid word.
10, I call it, in layman's terms. But yeah, obviously, real big turnaround in personnel that's brought a freshness to the group and an excitement. So we're all like raring to get going now.
Are you ready for the people?
I am indeed.
Let's go. Okay, our man on the mic is over here. Reese, have you got the mic? The wireless mic? You're taking my one? All right, fine. All right, I'm going to go over there. Reese, if you want to go out, who's got a question for Johnnie? Who's got a question? Who wants to go and set us up first? Anyone? Don't be shy. There's a gentleman at the front. Gentleman at the front with the first question for Johnnie. As soon as he's done, stick your hand up and we'll start pointing people up. But Reese will bring the microphone over. Go on, mate.
Obviously, a lot of new signings this season. Are you looking to bring any more in, or is that done and dusted for now?
It's a good opening question. I'm sure a lot of people will be interested. Yeah, I've spoke about it a few times in post-match interviews and stuff that I've done so far, that there's still a few holes in the squad that I feel like we can improve, just to make us. I mean, I'm so pleased with the work we've done, but I think just a couple more in certain positions fills the holes in the squad. So we'll look at that. Obviously, we've done a lot of business and spent a couple of quid to get to where we are today. So we have to be sensible around what we do. Obviously, there has been some outgoings, and you look at that as well. And if it needs to be that way before we do more, then we'll look at that. But yeah, there's certainly a couple of positions that we feel like we can strengthen.
Next question for Johnny. Anyone?
Not sure I'll get this right, but I'll try. With the new rules coming in for the timing from the referee, so that we're likely to finish a bit later, does this affect how you plan subs later in the game, or will it do that?
I think we'll have to see how it goes. I don't think anyone's entirely sure how it's gonna play out. Whether we're going to start seeing 10, 12 minutes like you saw in the World Cup, or whether it's going to be similar. The way they're talking is there's going to be a hell of a lot of extra time added, because they're going to time every sub, every injury stoppage. So I think it will pile up. In which case you probably got to approach it as a 100-minute game. So when you're thinking about maybe doing things on 70 minutes, maybe you've got to adjust that in your thinking, because you're not playing 90 now or 95. You're probably playing 100, maybe even more. So I guess it'll move. We'll have to look at it in the first few games, see what sort of times are getting added, see how we adjust our thinking and our subs and the way we're going to go about it. But I think until it starts, I don't think anyone's going to be entirely sure about exactly how it's going to work.
Okay, where are we going next? Anyone else? For anyone else? Let's get that gentleman there. He's stand up first over there. That gentleman there in the... What shirt's that?
Hi, apart from the obvious ones coming up like Wrexham and Notts County that have strong squads and probably buying well, from what you and Craig have seen, are there many surprises there in clubs lower down League Two that appear to be really investing and strengthening their squads that you didn't necessarily expect?
I think Kopi will know more about the individual team budgets, but not particular surprises. But I think the likes of Gillingham, you saw them flexing their muscles in January, just gone, and they've done it again this summer. So you would expect them, in the way that they've gone about their business, to be stronger. I think Colchester in January done a similar thing, which probably was quite a surprise at the time, because they haven't got a history of investing the way that they did, but they've done that in January, and they've done it again this summer. So they're going to be a completely different proposition. Obviously, 4 teams coming down as well is going to bring a new look to the league, and I don't think any of us are too sure exactly how they're going to shape up. And then your obvious ones, like you spoke about, Wrexham, Notts County, they're going to be no surprise. And then your Stockport, who were one of the bigger hitters as far as spending last year budget, they've done it again as well. So there's some usual suspects, and of course there'll be a few that surprise a few.
Where are we going next? There's a young gentleman over there in the corner, Reece. Stick your stand up and stick your hand up just so I can see it. There you go, mate. There you go.
Who do you think that?
What's your name?
Patrick.
Patrick.
What do you reckon is the hardest team you're going to face during the season?
Good question, Patrick. I think the obvious one to say is Wrexham. I think the way that they performed last year, winning that league. I know Notts County were really close. We think that Wrexham walked the league, but they didn't. Them and Notts were miles clear of the rest. But Notts County pushed them really close. So I think both them games, knowing what we do a little bit about the budgets and the spending that them teams are, the way that they're investing, I think You know, I'd be surprised if Wrexham aren't right at the top of this league come the end of the season. So I think you're looking at those two games, especially at their place with the support that they get, and obviously the fanfare that's coming with them at the minute. I think, you know, they're probably going to be a real tough opponent.
Where to next?
Hi, Johnny. Alex, obviously last season didn't finish in a way that anyone wanted it to. I understand what you've said about a new season, new slate, but how under pressure do you feel to perform quickly? Are you feeling like it's got, you know, we've really got to hit the ground running, or do you feel like you're going to have a bit of time to kind of, you know, get a decent run of form?
Yeah, listen, this is a results business, and with the nature of the support that I've had from the football club and the way that we've been supported in our recruitment and everything that we wanted to do behind the scenes for the football club, we know that we have to deliver, and that means on the pitch as well. So we want a strong start. We've got a difficult start with difficult games, and you can lose any game of football in this league. We know that, but obviously I've had frank conversations with the chairman and the board, and they've made me aware of what a success looks like, and obviously we're keen to deliver it, but we feel really confident in the work that we've done on the training pitch and the recruitment and the squad that we're putting together. It's going to give us the best opportunity. Now, you know, pre-season's gone well, but we got to go and walk the walk now in the league, and we're confident we can do that, but well aware, like any manager who would be sat here in this position, that if the results don't go that way, then your position's going to be looked at.
Can we go over to this side of the festival now, please? And I think that gentleman over there in the white t-shirt's been waiting a while. Been waiting a while, so good.
Can I put their hand up again? There you go. Just a moment. Hi Johnny, thanks first of all for sort of doing this tonight. So my question is, obviously we've had the budgets of other teams, we've had the recruitment already mentioned tonight. Where do you think is a realistic position for us to finish this year? Obviously it doesn't have to be a number, obviously it's very difficult to say, well, we're going to finish them first, but have you sort of told the squad whereabouts we're sort of aiming for this year?
No, we haven't said to the squad we expect to finish here. I think we've built a really competitive squad, and when I was sat here last year at this stage, you know, I've come here to try and help this football club succeed and win, and get back to winning, and we feel like we've given ourselves a really good opportunity to win a lot of games of football this season. We want to take that as far as we possibly can, knowing that it's probably the toughest League Two that there's been in a long, long time. So it's not going to be easy, but we want to be at the top end of that. We want to be competing. I think we showed at times, even in difficulty, that we competed with a lot of the teams towards the top of the league last year, and we expect to do that again, and we want to get a more consistency about us and see where that takes us. There's always a surprise package. We won't be expected, as far as the numbers and budgets and things like that, to be one of the big hitters, but I think we've been smart with our recruitment. We've been smart with other stuff around the medical side of things, so we feel like we won't encounter the same problems that we did with injuries and things, and we've built a squad that should be able to sustain a prolonged attack a whole season rather than having periods of good and then falling away. We don't want that. So my aim is to get this club promoted. It's not me declaring that we're going to get promoted, because we know how difficult that is, but that's what we all want. We all want success. I want to bring this football club success. I want to repay the faith that's been shown in me and the support, and deliver success on the pitch.
Okay, hands up. Anyone else there's loads of people for. Where's everyone gone?
Zab.
Hey, Zab, over it. Sorry, mate.
Hi Johnny. So the three that have come up from the 18s, Locke, Sassu and Williams, how impressed have you been? How difficult will it be to decide whether you're going to send them out on loan or keep them in and around the squad? What's your early feedback on those three?
I've been unbelievably impressed by all three, Zab, to be honest. Obviously, I knew I gave Sass his debut last season, and young Morgan and got his league debut in the last game. Didn't know so much about Paris Lock. Obviously, I've seen him in the Youth Cup games here, but hadn't watched him work it day in, day out. Obviously, he's been with us for the whole of pre-season. I've got to say, I've been really, really impressed by all three, not only with their ability, but their attitude to the work. It's been a tough pre-season. Let me tell you, it's been really difficult, and they've more than held their own. And they've given me, like real food for thought, to be honest. And I can see certainly in Sassu and Morgan's possibly playing a part. And we have to be, well, all three, but we have to be really careful. If we are going back to your question, if we are going to bring in more players, some of them might be loans, some of them might be younger loans from Premier League clubs, for example. We have to make absolutely certain that the ones that we're going to bring in aren't going to block pathways, that they're going to actually improve us rather than just be as good as our own ones. So we'll look at that long and hard. And I ain't in any rush really to say, right, you need to go out on loan, you need to get out on loan, because I think they got roles to play. For now, we'll see how we look at the end of the window. And we'll make decisions on all three, because obviously they can still, after the window shuts, they can go to National League or below anyway. So we're not up against it. We're not in a race for time with any of them. But they've all been a credit to the football club and the work that obviously goes on in the academy, with the way they've approached pre-season, the way they've conducted themselves, and the way they played when they've had opportunity. Oh, yeah.
Hi, Johnny.
Hello.
Just a quick question. One of the things that we had that was pretty obvious last season was that by about the 80th minute, we always seemed to be less fit than the opposition. I just wondered what has been happening in pre-season in terms of trying to get their fitness up a bit, and whether there's been an increase in how many times a week they're training.
It's not pre-season. I just touched on it there. Was that pre-season's been very, very hard. I think if you spoke to any of the lads, they'd say it'd be right up there with any pre-season that they've had, comparable, if not harder. We had a great tour that we went away to Spain that the club put on for us. That was magnificent, and we was training 4 times a day. Some of them days, up before breakfast doing runs, 2 pitch sessions, gym sessions. So we pushed them as hard as we can possibly push them in this pre-season. Certainly harder, I think, than last year. And what we have got is a stronger, more robust squad as well, which means that you can train them harder without breaking them. Because obviously that's one of the issues when you push is, can they handle it? Well, I think so far that they've shown that as a group they can, and we'll continue to push them. But having that squad allows us to make the changes in games when we feel like maybe the energy's dropping, and you want to make changes that don't weaken your team, if you like. We've built a squad we feel that will be able to handle the rigours of maybe a 100-minute game, which you're looking at. So I think a big part of that, and probably going to be the answer to a lot of questions, is the recruitment that we've done to build a squad so we're not in those situations again, that when you are looking round behind you to try and make a positive impact on a match, you're not worried about what you're sending on, because you know that the guy coming on is going to do just as good a job, or if not better than the guy that you're bringing off.
Can we get a couple more from here, then we'll go to some questions that have been emailed into the club over the past few days. So who's up next? Don't worry, there'll be another chance to have a go. This gentleman, the gentleman first, please.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Jules. First off, I want to say thanks to yourself and the club that's definitely stepped up in terms of social media, stories, getting to know you in your home and things like that. It's made a huge difference, I think. So congratulations to everyone who's done that work.
Thank you.
It's appreciated. On that note, you've been a player, you played for England briefly as well. You've obviously faced a lot of criticism as a player. What's it like for you, the difference between facing criticism and learning from it as a player versus a manager? And there's been a shift in more social media in that time as well.
Yeah.
How do you throttle that, and how do you handle that yourself?
I think as a manager, I think you take everything a bit more personal, to be honest. I spoke about it before, the winning and losing becomes more personal. Obviously, when you as a player, you've got, you want to win. Sometimes you lose, but then you ask, well, how did I do? Did I play well? And that gives you a little bit of comfort sometimes, whereas obviously as a manager, it's did we win? And that's like the be-all and end-all, really. So you live and die by the result, and you have to live with that. And over a weekend when it ain't gone well, you stew on it. I block out, I have to block out all the social media and stuff like that. So I think if you read every single thing, and I've heard a lot of sportsmen talk about it, you could probably read 10 nice comments on something and read one bad one, and the one bad one's gonna fester with you. So I think you have to try and block out a lot of the noise, a lot of the opinion, and just stick to your work, stick to your gut, take the advice of the people that you've got. I've got good people around me. Terry's there, Craig's there, John, and all the coaching staff are, and you value their opinion. So you seek solace in those people, and obviously you're questioning yourself all the time. It's just constant. So, but we back the work that we do all week, the training that we put on, the sessions that we put on, the work that we've done this summer. So it's important that you don't get too bogged down in any one result. I think sometimes, especially in social media or on the radio, you're either really good or you're really terrible, and there's no in between. And you win one week and you're great, and you lose and then you're rubbish. I think there's a lot of that, and you have to just be right. Are we doing good work, and continue to do that? But obviously, always have to reflect, self-appraise, and say, right, what can we do better? That's one thing that we spoke about a lot this summer is the constant strive to improve. And if we win a couple of games, we won't be sat there like patting ourselves on the back going like we've cracked it. We'll be like, no, we need to get better because we want to win 3, 4, 5. So that's our mindset, and you have to try and sort of block out a lot of the noise, because I think you have to trust your own instincts.
One more from the floor. This gentleman over here, please.
Hi, my name is Matthew. Thanks very much, Johnny, for doing this. Saw a few days ago that you named Jake Reeves as captain and Pierce as vice captain. Was just interested in your rationale behind those choices, and also in how you see each of those roles and what you expect those guys to bring to the role.
Yeah, I didn't have any when I came back from for the new pre-season. I hadn't made my mind up about any of that. I wanted to see how the pre-season played out. I wanted to see people who stepped up to the mark. I wanted to see how people had looked after themselves over the summer. And one thing I noticed straight away with Jake, and it was one of the big factors behind bringing him in, was the type of personality that he was. Forget about what he's like as a player, we know that. But the personality, which obviously when I spoke to him and I was speaking about him to other people, when you're doing your homework about a signing, it became quite clear quickly that he was the type of character that you want to bring in. Obviously he had success at the level last year, so that was a big factor behind some of the recruitment that we went. And as soon as I sort of sat with Jake and watched him and the way he conducted himself, the way he trained, the way he especially was with the younger lads in the squad, I thought to myself that he looks and feels like a captain. So after a week or two, it became quite an easy decision, really. And with Piercy, again, abundance of experience. We wanted to see him more on the pitch last season, because when he played, we tended to do better, actually, results-wise. He didn't play enough, and I said to him that I wanted him to go away over the summer and work hard, and he's certainly done that. He's come back looking really fit with a sort of a real keenness to show what he's about, knowing now that he's got stiff competition in his position. And I've seen he's stepped up. He's been great with the young lads. He's a really good pro. He trains hard, and obviously he's had a good career. So we just felt Jake was the obvious candidate as the captain. I think having spoken with Piercy and the role that I see for him this season, I think he can be a good support for Jake as well.
Gaffer, get some water on board. We're going to take some questions that have come in online via email and through different club channels. To you guys who have dished them out to us from home, from around the world, wherever you're watching this from, a lot of the topics have been covered. We will endeavour to get through everything, but yeah, naturally some questions will be skipped over, and then of course we'll come back to the panel here and to the open forum here in the main room here at the Cherry Red Records Stadium. Right, Johnny, first question comes in from Adam saying, we seem to have a much better squad than last season, which is great. Do you think we'll be able to give the substitutes more minutes on the pitch to ensure the starting squad does not become overworked and the bench is not overtrained and underused in games? Bit of a mouthful.
Yeah, I think I touched on it a little bit with your question, yeah, because we've built a squad now. We want to get to a stage where we've got 2 really strong players for every position. You've got that competition, so it's not a shoe-in who's going to play, and that, you know, you should be hopefully at a point where you're struggling to pick 7 for the bench because you don't know who to pick because everyone's making a case to play or to be involved, and you don't want to leave people out, which means that when you are going to make changes in a game, you've got no worries. I think at times last season the bench was pretty weak, and when you are looking to impact it positively, you're not sure if it's going to be the right move or not. Now I think we're at a stage, certainly as it stands at this moment, I've got headaches all over the pitch about the 11 that you start.
Good headaches.
Great headaches, yeah. Yeah, great headaches. And then, when you are looking around, right, on you go, because he ain't quite doing it, so he can come off, and you know that the fella, he's got the ump because he ain't playing, so when I get on there, I'm going to prove a point. And that's how you create competition and a squad that are all vying for a place. It shouldn't be a shoe-in who's going to play every week, It should be, right, who's going to train hard this week. Obviously, I always say if you're in the team and you're doing well, generally you're going to keep your shirt. We will have to be smart sometimes with the rotations, with the amount of games, and take that into account. But it's quite straightforward, football, really. Like, if you're in the team and you're doing the business, you're going to stay in, I ain't seen too many forwards get a hat-trick and then get dropped the following week. Do you know what I mean? So that's what we're after.
Question in from Dean asking if you had a word for some of the players who have left, particularly Woody. Yeah,
absolutely. I touched on it in one of my interviews with Fulpy post game, but it was. I'm so fond of Woody, and I think he's been a great servant to the football club. So it was a tough one with him. He understood when we had a conversation when we came back the direction that I wanted to take the club. That I needed to bring a freshness to it, and that would mean a big turnover in players. And I explained to him then that he would be one that if we could move on, that we would. But he goes with, and I said to him, as long as he showed the respect of training hard and being involved, I wouldn't. Some managers have said, right, you go over there, you've got to train on your own, you've got to train with the 23s, but I didn't want to go down that road with someone who'd done so much for the football club. And he was a model professional from the moment coming back pre-season to the moment that he signed for York. And I'm sure he goes with everyone's best wishes. We're fond of him, and I want him to go there and do well. And he's a unique character, is Woody. And he always tried his best for this football club. For me and Terry to speak about that a lot. That he gave it his all, whether it was good or bad. He always gave it his all, and I'm sure he'll always be welcome back here too.
Dean chucked on a bolt-on and asked, "Have you not been tempted by Saudi Arabia?"
That ain't come in yet. No, it's crazy what's happening with football, and I think they've skewed the whole market and just changed the landscape of it. But I enjoy it here. I got unfinished business. We feel like we're just really getting going now. We're the work we've done this summer. We're so excited by, and like I say, the support that's been shown to me, I want to repay that faith for Wimbledon.
From a country skewing the market to someone who likes to skew things up on a football pitch. This question is from Rob about Harry Pell. What do you see as his role in the team, given the midfielders we've signed and his advanced role in pre-season?
Yeah, it's just, I watched him a lot before we signed him when he was at Accrington, and he was playing higher up the pitch. Obviously, throughout most of his career, he's been a midfielder, Pelly, but he's always been someone who wants to get forward, get in the box and try and score. And with his attributes, physical attributes, he's good in the air. And the way that we're playing this season, and we have been in pre-season, he's been really effective when we have gone more direct to him. And he causes carnage, doesn't he, at times? So sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a not so good way. But we want to get. There's a player in Pelly, and we want to harness that and get it out of him. I just feel, and I think he does as well, that he can be more effective higher up that pitch, playing a similar role to what Omar does for the team. Obviously, in Josh and Ali, you've got two completely different forward types there to what an Omar or what a Pelly as an advanced midfielder, number 10, whatever you want to call it. There's certainly a role for him to play, but I think just higher up the pitch gives him that licence to go and get in the box, hopefully add more goals to his game and just give him that freedom. I've
got to choose my words really carefully here, but do you see shades of yourself with regards to the housery element of his game?
No, I was a good boy on pitch.
That's why you played for Charlton, mate.
What I see is a fierce competitor, and I was like that as a player. Hated losing, wanted to win, willing to bend the rules, if you like, to get that within. Always fair, always played fair, but sometimes he don't, and he can be his own worst enemy at times. And we've spoke about harnessing the good side of the dark arts rather than it becoming, a thing, a pantomime. We don't want that, but we love him. He's a rogue, isn't he? But he's our rogue, and I always say that about him. So, yeah.
Rob has also asked, which players stood out the most amongst our new signings?
Yeah, I get the question. I'm reluctant to pinpoint anyone. I think it's a little unfair on that we look at all those lads that we brought in. We brought them in for different reasons, because they're going to have different impacts throughout the season. Some of it the ground running, some are going to come strong later. They've all been at first class. They've all approached the pre-season with an appetite to do the hard graft first, which is important. We done our homework on all the lads that we brought in, and we knew we was bringing in good characters, and if they wasn't, we wouldn't have done that. So happy with them all 10 of them. Some we got in really early, some we only just brought in, but they've all played their part to now, and obviously now the real stuff starts, and everyone's got to step up.
Who performed the best initiation?
Apart from me.
Yeah. What did you do?
Part life. You seen it?
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Confident. I'm not doing it again.
Who performed the best initiation out of the players?
I mean, Reevesy was really good. He got the ball rolling as well. So he just got up there, just attacked it. I can't remember what he sung. Was anyone there? Can you remember what he sung? Buttercup, yeah. And he done it well. And he got the gaff rocking, to be honest. And I think he give the other lads, I think there was a few of them that were wavering a bit. Yeah. But then after he done it, I think they felt like they had to. So he got the ball rolling. So he got to give it to Reevesy, really.
The worst?
Yeah, that was Paris, wasn't it? Yeah, Paris locked done a nursery rhyme. So at least he done it, but it weren't the best.
Yeah, not the best of efforts. What was it like that night, by the way, in the 12-man bar in Benidorm?
Brilliant, yeah.
I mean, tell us about that.
No, it's blinding. Like, obviously, I'd been down there with Craig to have a look at the place, and we was like, oh, it's perfect for what we wanted for that night. And then obviously you're just hoping that they're going to turn up in numbers, and we got in there, and there was obviously just mobs of Wimbledon supporters. I think a few had a good day in Benidorm already, and were ready to get rocking. Do you know what I mean? So we walked in, and spirits were high. There was really good energy. Yeah, really good energy in the room, and we had a great night. Obviously, all the lads got up, done their singing, and then I got roped into it. So I done my singing, and then we mingled. We had a beer. Well, the staff had a beer. The players had to be up first thing for training. So it was great to see. Great to see so many Wimbledon fans out there and having a good time.
Great question from Matthew. He has asked, what does success look like for Johnnie Jackson and Wimbledon this season?
That is a good question. I'm probably going to repeat what I said before. I suppose like our aim as a football club has always got to be promotion, whether that's a realistic aim, an unrealistic aim. I'm here to be successful for this football club, especially with the support that I've been shown. We want to repay that faith. We feel like it's a really tough league. Again, with the work that we've done, the squad that we're building, I think it gives us a really good platform to be competitive. Let's see where that takes us. We want to try and start fast. Got to try and start fast, knowing that we've got some tough games in that run. But we saw last season that when people were fit and we had a stronger squad to choose from, that we weren't a million miles away from it. So any improvements that we can make on that, I think, puts us in touching distance of those players. That has to be our aim, to try and get in those playoffs. Whether that's overachieving or not, let other people decide that. But if we can get in there, then who knows? But a lot of our work to go, early doors, obviously. But we're gonna try and win every game.
One more before we head back to the floor for some more questions. Just talk to us about Craig and Terry at the back. He looks scared, does Kobe? Kobe gives a wave. Everyone's looking around.
Kobe.
It's just
Kobe got away with not doing a song in Spain. So
Craig, Pell, we've got a wobbly stage here for you if you want. Fancy it? Okay. Just tell us about the work that Craig has done since coming in. It feels like things have been handled a lot differently, and of course, your right hand man, Terry Skiverton. What's it been like, sort of on this journey with him?
Yeah, I'll talk about Terry. Obviously, he's been by my side for nigh on 2 years now, and he's an absolute rock for me. As far as the support that he gives me, he don't miss any of these. He's always there. He keeps quiet at the back, but he's always there, whether you can see him or not, because he wants to be there to support me and everything that we're doing. And he's as desperate as I am to bring this football club success. So we bounce everything off of each other. He's a great confidant, but what he is a fantastic coach first and foremost, and he helps me on the training pitch every day. He
smashed himself up on it yesterday.
Yeah, he's done his knee a little bit though. So he was trying to demo a left-footed cross yesterday. He probably should have just asked me to do it, but
probably.
He tried to demo a left-footed cross and he's done his knee. So that's why he's not moving about. Some of the players call us like an old married couple because we spend a lot of time together in each other's pockets. But I think
that's what it should be like.
I think so. You have to have that relationship. We don't have to, because not all managers' assistants have that. But for me, that's what works for us. He's a big part of all the decision making. We discuss everything.
Forget Terry and Johnny's. Forget Terry and Junior's Terry and Johnny.
I think there's a sitcom in there.
Literally, there is a show in it. I just want to shout Terry up because he drove from Yeovil to make this event. He's big on these events. So, ladies and gentlemen, he never gets a round of applause. Can we give Terry Skiverton a big round of applause? Craig Cope. Tell us all about him.
Kobe.
How does he like his tea in the morning?
How does he like his tea? I wouldn't know.
No?
He makes mine. Nah, honestly, Kobe's been first class since he's come in and joined us. Obviously, back in January, Kobe, wasn't it? Back in January. Obviously, we hadn't met before. We met in a hotel in Waltham Abbey and sat there for about 2 hours just talking football, and not like that.
I was worried which way that I was going, but yeah, go on.
And just spoke football, and straight away after that meeting, obviously spoke to the chairman, and not that it wasn't my, entirely up to me, but the chairman wanted my opinion, and I said there's a good man for that job and for that role, because I think we hit it off. We knew the way that we was talking, that we had similar ideas of how we saw that we could progress the football club. But obviously at that stage it was just talk, and Kobe's come in and he's walked the walk. Obviously he's helped with the recruitment, so it's been a massive team effort on that front. Me, Kobe, Terry, and the guys with the recruitment that we've done, highlighting new players, and it's not only that side of it, but the work that he's done at the training ground, improving facilities. He's constantly on people to strive to improve he's responsible for getting the canteen up and running. We've got a brilliant facility now at the training ground where we've got new chef, new food, and I've got to say, while I'm talking about the training ground and the improvements and around the training ground and here, a big thank you to I'm sure a lot of the people in this room has for the help that we got from volunteers over the summer as well. Thank you, because without that help, thanks guys, because we all had the ideas about what we wanted from the training ground, the pitches and stuff like that, but without actual hands-on work, it can't happen, and I think that's probably what's...
Can we give Omar Bagil a round of applause as well for painting about a square centimetre wall at the training?
And Rocket, I got a big shout out to Rocket, kit man,
Rocket, give us a wave.
Spent days on end, and Stanners, John Stanley, days on end painting the new the changing room. So for those of you that have been down the training ground before and after, you'll see the improvements that have been made, and it really has made such a difference to when you come into work. We found, and this is what we wanted, that the lads are staying longer because they got a nice place to be in. They enjoy coming into work. They enjoy being around each other. They've got a main hub now where we've got the canteen where they can socialise rather than just being stuck in a changing room like they was before. So Kobe certainly made a lot of that happen, along with what he would tell you is the most important part of probably any football club is the recruitment side of it, where he's been first class too.
I don't know what it is about your coaching staff and the backroom staff here, but he was smashed up as well over the summer, wasn't he? He had his leg in a boot.
Oh, I thought you meant drunk. Yeah.
No, not like that as well, but...
Kobe?
Yeah, had his leg in the boot as well. Ladies and gentlemen, just again, someone who never gets the limelight, never gets a round of applause, Craig Cope, for delivering a fantastic window. Okay, so, by the way, Johnny, we're going to try and wrap this up inside the next 15-20 minutes, just so everyone gets a chance to have a chat, have a drink. Johnny, Craig, Terry will be sticking around for a bit, so if you want to go and say hello, go and say hello. He's a very approachable person, so he won't sing, but he'll be happy to have a chat. So, questions from the floor once again. That gentleman straight up there, Reece. There you go, chap over there. 1, 2, about 6 rows back.
Yeah, I've got a question for you, JJ. It's been noted that the squad numbers have been released, and we noticed that there are 3 goalkeepers. How do you intend to use them, and what are your plans, please?
Well, obviously, like with any other position on the pitch, they got to fight it out. They got to fight it out to see who gets the shirt. The problem, obviously, with goalkeepers is you can only pick one, and then you can only put one on the bench. So someone's going to miss out, but that will be based on what I've seen in pre-season. That will be based on how they train, and obviously who we think is the most reliable out of those guys. So they're 3 good goalkeepers with three different attributes. Obviously, the new one that we brought in became available, and we certainly felt that it was something that would improve us. So the top goalkeeper is Alex, and I think if Bezo was here, he would tell you that having that competition has really ramped up the quality in the training that he's been getting from those guys. So it's great that we're having that competition. I think if you want to be a top side, then you have, if you want to be a good player, you have to know that you have to be on it all the time, and you don't want a goalkeeper getting comfy knowing he's just going to be picked every week, regardless of what's going on, performance and stuff like that. He needs to know that his position's in jeopardy as well. So I think we've got that. Obviously, come Saturday, one of those guys is going to miss out, and they're going to be disappointed, and then there may or may not be a conversation around that, and look to do something with one, but that'll be a conversation with the player that we'll have, if need be, with Kobe. But I won't preempt that. Let's see what comes out of Saturday. I have to pick one. I have to put one on the bench, and one's going to miss out, and that's the nature of football, unfortunately. but yeah, obviously we're not here. We're not here to make friends. We need a winning team.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers, JJ. Since this wonderful stadium opens, home form hasn't been great. Since this wonderful stadium opened, away form hasn't been great. How do we keep those Leyton Orient style performances and kind of make this place into a fortress?
Yes, good question. Obviously, this needs to be a place that teams fear coming to, rather than think they're going to get an easy day. Again, a lot of it comes down to players and the quality that you've got on the pitch and the options that you've got. But we need to harness those types of performance. And I think the style that we're going to play, the way that I want to implement it, in being a front foot, pragmatic style, getting teams on the back foot, i.e., making them defend quickly without giving the game plan away completely. But we want to put them on the back foot, and it'll be a different style. I think certainly a miles different style to how we started the last season. So I think with that will create an energy in the stadium amongst the crowd. We've obviously got a huge part to play, but we've seen when we are a front foot team in those types of games, and we have got the opposition pegged back, how that galvanises you guys in the stand, and the way that the energy and the noise that you can create. But we've got to give you something to feed off, haven't we? So that's the aim, for us to give you a brand of football that's front foot, exciting, hopefully, and gets the opposition on the back foot. And then I think that gets you, on your feet or bums off seats, and then the whole thing starts really going. And I think the more success we have, the more teams of fear coming here. Sometimes it's probably too nice. We might have to look at doing the old cold water tricks and I don't know, all the old tricks that the crazy gang used to get up to. Some of that gear as well. But yeah, that's obviously the main aim needs to be what we're going to do on the pitch to the opposition.
There's quite a few. There's a gentleman there right at the back in the keep going. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you. Hi, JJ. Just a question, thank you about, it's great news that the club's improved the training facilities, catering. Obviously, it's vitally important travelling away to games, particularly League Two's quite a northern area. And have we made any improvements for the players and staff regarding travelling away and the facilities and etc.?
To be honest, that wasn't a particular problem. I think we was looked after by the club. Certainly since I've been here, been looked after. We've always travelled well, whether that's a coach, whether we've done a lot of train journeys when we feel like that would be more beneficial, and we'll continue to do that. Obviously, we have to remember who we are and budget restraints, and we're not going to be jumping on planes anywhere and doing all that. But if we feel like a certain journey warrants a train because it's going to get us up there and it's going to get us back in better condition, then that's a conversation that me and Kobe will have, and we'll approach the powers that be about trying to make that happen. We stay in nice hotels, we have good food, and we just want to make that a smoother thing. We had a couple of mishaps last season that we need to just make sure that everything needs to be better. Everything needs to improve, and we need to constantly be on it. And that's the promise that we've all made to each other. And the travel will be no different to anything else.
Okay,
Thank you. Referees are under instructions this season that if on the field there's an incident and they get crowded, they have to issue at least one yellow card. Have you given instructions to the team as a whole or to any specific players? Because we've seen a few incidents already in pre-season.
Yeah, we had to be. I think maybe you talked about Omar on Saturday, but I think he copped a particularly. I think it was a little bit unfair. He was just being physical the way that he was. But yeah, we obviously going into the first game, we will address that with players. We don't want obviously unnecessary cautions. They just, first day of the season, someone gets a yellow, you're probably not thinking too much of it, but they build up, don't they? And then they end up missing games, and that's what we don't want. If we're going to get yellow cards, red cards are going to happen, but they need to be for the right reasons, because you're trying to make a tackle that's going to help the team. But we've clamped down. We've got code of conduct that anyone getting an unnecessary, dissent, silly things like that, yellow cards that can be avoided. The players will be disciplined. So we've got that in place. Obviously, they'll be reminded of that before Saturday, going into that they got a responsibility, and that everyone needs to try and stay on the pitch, and everyone needs to try and avoid suspensions and injuries best we can. They're a part of football, but some are certainly more avoidable than others. So they'll be reminded.
Just noticed that Will Nightingale went out on loan this season up till January, I think. I just wondered what was your thinking behind that, and if you've got any words about Will Nightingale.
Again, it's very similar to Woody. We're all really fond of Will. Great lad, great club man, servant to the club, and we just had some frank conversations at the start of pre-season that I would be looking to strengthen in that area of the pitch. And I certainly think we've done that with the guys that we brought in, and we both felt that his game time might be limited because of that, and Will, being Will, is desperate to play. But obviously, and again, he's not had a history of playing 30, 40 games in the past few seasons. Always had niggly injuries and stuff like that, and we need to have as robust a squad as we can. So we had a frank conversation, and an opportunity came for him to go to a club where he feels like he's going to play week in, week out, and he was keen to take that opportunity, and we didn't necessarily want to step in his way. And it, obviously, moving a player out allows you to do certain other business as well, which we always, we have to balance that. It's brilliant that we want to get 10 signings in, but something has to give elsewhere as well if we want to do the business that we've done. So a lot of factors involved with Will, but I think the beauty of it, he doesn't sever ties with a club. With it just being a 6-month loan, and we can both parties can look at it come January and decide where we want to go with it. But obviously we all love Will. We want him to go up there, and hopefully he smashes it, doesn't he? And then he can come back to us and get in the team. There's no decisions, no closed doors or anything as far as Will Nightingale. So I've spoke to him since he's been up there. He's enjoying it, and obviously we wish him well, and we'll all keep a close eye on how he's doing every week.
Okay, this side of the room, we'll be coming to you in a minute. Anyone else on this side of the room want to ask a question? Yeah, this young chap here, this young chap. Do you want to stand up and ask it? Yeah, go on.
What challenges do you see for the team in the upcoming fixtures, and how do you plan to overcome them?
Good question. Well, I think we've got a tricky start to the season. Obviously, the irony that we're going to first game is against the team that we played in the last game of last season. So I think that's a good marker of. We all feel that we're going there in a lot better shape than we went there at the end of last season. So, but they will have improved as well. So we've got to overcome that. And I think we spoke about Wrexham and how strong I think they'll be this season. So that first home game is obviously going to be a real tough game. But we feel like with the support we're going to have here, that we can really get stuck into them, and certainly not going to give them their own way. We need to be well up for that one, knowing that they've got quality, and we'll do our homework on them and work on things in training like we would do with any team. But we got to be up for a fight against them, knowing that they got some really good players that can hurt you if you don't defend well. Sandwiched between that, we've got Coventry, who obviously Championship team that nearly went to the Premier League. They only lost out on pens, wasn't it? To learn, yeah, pens. Yeah, they lost on penalties in the Championship final, so it nearly became a Premier League team. So obviously a really, really good side, tough challenge. But we like an upset, and we want to cause one against them. Obviously, in those three games in the first week. You know, we're going to have to utilise our whole squad, make sure that we're smart about who we pick and what games and stuff like that, and see how it goes. But I mean, really exciting 3 games to get stuck into.
I'm sure I saw one more at least. We'll come to this side in a minute, 100%. Anyone else? I'm sure I saw one more from this side. Anyone else from this side? Do you want to go?
Go and get him there. He's been.
He was.
Fella in that.
Right, this side.
In the cap.
Just check with the cap. Go on, Bruce.
Hi. What are your expectations from Ali and Josh Davison this season?
Goals, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. I think we need to score goals. To win games. So.
Yeah. Well, I think Ali's proven that he scores goals. Joined us in January. I think he got. It was more, wasn't it? 10. We give him 10, will we? I know it was a lot from January onwards, and obviously turned a lot of heads, did Ali. So we know we've got a player there that can score goals. Josh is someone who's capable of scoring 15, 20 goals in a season because he's done it. But I think if we want to have success, that's what we need out of our forwards. We want to set the team up in a way that's going to get the best out of them. They got good foils in Omar, different types of player, and Pell when he plays that role. So we got a bit of variety in our attack, but obviously, as a number 9, you want to score goals, don't you? That's your main target. But we need goals from all around the pitch. We need midfielders to chip in. They need to go and get in the box and get goals. Wingers have got to score goals, and we need to score more goals from set pieces. So I think our centre halves have got to step up as well. And if we can get a few out of them, then if you get to a point where you're getting goals from all around your team, then you're in business. But I think any team that has success has probably got a striker in their team that's going to get sort of 20 odd goals, which we feel like we've got the players that can do that.
Anyone else on this side over it? No? Yeah. Just check the
Obviously, you've talked a lot about how the squad's been strengthened over the summer, which I think is fantastic. But there are players who performed really well last season who are going to be courted from elsewhere. How confident are you that we can keep them?
Probably Ali being the obvious one who's come in and scored goals, and certainly I think he's turned heads, and there's probably been interest, but there's obviously been nothing concrete, and we're under no pressure as a staff to sell anyone. Football club aren't putting any pressure on us in that regard, and neither are the players. So Ali's happy being here. I think he's really grateful for the opportunity that we gave him in January, bringing him in. He hadn't played a lot of football before coming to us. Certainly hadn't scored a lot of goals, and we've given him the platform to end the season really well. And I think he's keen to double down on that this season. I think he enjoys being here, being a part of what we're doing. And like I say, we've had no offers for him, and we aren't expecting any offers that are going to force our hand as a staff. Obviously, everyone's got a number. If some Saudi team comes in and they want to offer X amount, I mean, that won't be my...
Or Qatar.
Qatar, yeah, that won't be my decision, obviously. When I get asked what I want to do, I'll say I want to keep him because he's one of our best players who knows where the goal is. So, we're like I say, I think the important thing is that we're not under any pressure to sell any players.
Anyone else? Gentlemen, 2 chaps over. Do you want to go to the gentleman first at the back?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for doing this so close to the start of the season.
No problem.
I think it's very much appreciated. You had a very long career as a player. Now you're a manager. What's the difference in feelings and emotions of both roles that you get this close to the season?
I think there's an excitement in both. As a player, you've done all the hard work. As far as we all hated pre-season. Let's face it. You just get run ragged, didn't you? So, when you come back on that first day of pre-season, you got a feeling of dread in your stomach because of what's coming. But at this stage, you're now fit. You've played all the pre-season games, and you just want to get started. So for the flip of that, I've watched all my lads, this new squad that we've built, really come together, really gel with the tour and the work that we've done, and obviously it's gone really well on the pitch so far in pre-season. You know, we're all liking what we're seeing. Now you're right, come on lads, the real stuff begins, and there's an excitement from us to see what they're capable of, because we're really confident in what they can do. So I guess for a player, it's like all the hard work and the fitness that they got in the bank, they're ready to go now. And us, it's all the work that we've done, putting them through their paces and the tactical stuff, and implementing a style of play that now you want to see that. You want to see that firsthand in the game. So we're all excited for it. But the excitement, I suppose, is probably the same on both levels.
Gentlemen, 2 rows. Already.
Johnny, on the subject of players moving on, there was a lot of noise around Jack Curry leaving in January, but nothing at all mentioned this summer. Are you confident we have him for this coming season?
Yeah, I am, yes. Again, Jack's, I mean, if any of you know Jack, I mean, he's the nicest lad that you could ever meet, and obviously January was a real crazy one for him, because he had all that exposure, and didn't know if he'd be leaving, staying, and I think emotionally that was probably tricky for him to deal with for a period. And but he's come back this season, and he's been absolutely first class in the work that he's done. He's a fit boy. He's desperate to improve and get better. I mean, every day he comes over to me and Terry and wants to do a little bit extra, because he just wants to get better all the time. And he wants to get in the team, and he wants to play, and he hasn't caused us like a minute's aggro and any reason to think that, you know, he don't want to be a part of what we're doing here. And I think he's excited for the upcoming season. As a lot of the players that were here previously, they're seeing what's going on, they're seeing the improvements that are being made, and they want to be a part of it. And like you say, there's been nothing's come in for Jack since that. And with the conversations we've had, you know, if you just continue to do what you're doing, improve, get in the team, stay in the team, all that stuff comes in the end, you know. The money, the play, he probably wants to play at the highest level possible. Why wouldn't he? But you know, he's got no ceiling, Jack. It's all there for him. But obviously, he's got to do it consistently. He's only played 25 games so far in his career, and probably because he's one of ours, and you know, he feels like he's been here a long time. But he's not a seasoned pro yet, because he just hasn't played the games. That's what he needs to do consistently now. Do well for Wimbledon, and like it's always been seen, it's a platform to go on, bigger money, higher level, hopefully the top for Jack. And I don't think there's any reason why he can't do that in time, but I think he can have real success with us too.
Thank you, that's really good to hear. So.
We've got time for a couple more. Anyone from this side? This gentleman here, please.
Hi Johnny, just 2 quick questions. The first one, do you coach the players as a unit, i.e. just as defenders, attackers and midfielders, or do you more regularly have them as a whole squad when you're implementing your training sessions throughout the week?
Both, to be honest. We'll do different things on different days, so there'll be times where we'll split off into units. Obviously goalkeepers always start with Bezo, but then we bring them into our sessions all the time, and certain days of the week we'll split off into different units. Terry often goes with the defenders, and myself and Rob will do different stuff with midfielders and attackers. And then generally we'll bring it all back together. And then closer to the match day, you're working more on team patterns, 11v11, stuff like that. So it does vary. Yeah, I think you have to train specific stuff for, you know, there's no point defenders are like doing loads of shooting drills all the time, is there? They need to be practicing what they're going to be doing on a Saturday, but then you have to bring all that together in 11v11 situations as well.
All right, cool. And the last one, what's your favourite musical chord?
It's good. I like a D, to be honest, because there's quite a lot you can do with a D. If you're a guitar player, you know, you can bring loads of different things in. It's probably only me. I don't know if it's just me and you that know what we're talking about here, or if there's a few guitar players in the room. But if you know what I'm talking about, a D's nice, and a G.
Johnny, you started the training telling the players, let's put a close on what happened last season. What would you like to say? There's been a bit of infighting between the fans, people being loyal, whatever you want to call it. It's complicated, but what do you want to say to all the fans here and out there about looking forwards?
Yeah, I mean, that's the message that we've been putting out. Like you said, hopefully they're seeing more of the content that we're all trying to do. So I think it's great that the more you guys can see about the ins and outs of what we're doing every day and how we're working and how hard we're working, not only on the pitch but behind the scenes to bring success to the club. We've got good people that want the best, and we want to deliver for you guys. And obviously there's a massive role for you guys to play every week when we're playing in front of you. We want you to feel positive about. Hopefully you can see what we're doing with the way that we're moulding the squad, the recruitment, the positivity that there's been around the pre-season. We hope that's coming across and that you're feeling that. And we can't do anything without you guys. We need your support. And one thing I do know about this football club and the time that I've been here is that probably like no other club, the way that it's your club, isn't it? The way that you get behind your team, everyone's so passionate about that, and we as a staff now, we have to deliver for you guys. But one big thing that we've said, and it's probably the best way to leave it for the evening, is it's one club. It's one club, and it's our club, and everyone, whatever, whether you're a supporter, whether you work in the offices, at the training ground, everyone's got a role to play, and everyone's just as valuable.
Can I just say, you've just taken my final question, but ladies and gentlemen, Johnnie Jackson.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming. Thanks for turning out.
Before we close, I just want to look at this picture here. Firstly, shout out Mark Jones for designing the most stunning kits with our technical partners, Umbro. Mate, beautiful, gorgeous.
Jonesy, I got to say, it's one of the best kits I've ever seen.
Training kits, the lot.
Honestly,
this beautiful jacket modelled by me. Woo, lovely. Johnny, what's this photo about? Tell me about this photo, because there was a famous team here that played in 2016 that did pretty well, and they were known as the Wolfpack. And for me, that looks like something similar, but maybe a bit of a band of brothers.
I think we should all appreciate how cool Skivo looks on the end there.
Skivo, beautiful.
With that post, class, mate.
Anyone else you want to make?
No, I've just got to say great work to Jonesy and the photographers who come down. What day was it? Monday. Obviously had the team photo, and then we got
Bezos UK Garage.
Where is he?
Look like he's about to drop an album.
Pose. Tanz's Tash looks well. Josh's.
Who else can we?
Ali looks quite cool on the end, doesn't he?
Ali does look very cool.
Tuvi's very serious. No, it was a good shot. I got everyone in the stand, and we went through a few more light-hearted poses. But he's obviously gone with a serious one. I think we all look like we mean business. I think that's probably what's trying to come across there.
Pell and Josh Davison look like your henchmen, but you see Alex Pearce just next to him.
You wouldn't mind that. Hey,
we know who the governor is.
You're in good company there, aren't you?
Absolutely. What a photo that is. What a season it's hopefully going to be here at Plough Lane. Can I just firstly say thank you to Reece, Rob, Spike and Stuart for putting this together. The technicals, the audio, fantastic guys. You guys do such a great job. Thank you to you for joining us as well. Johnny, Coventry next week. Pack the ground out. There's nothing like this place under the lights. We can't wait to see everyone back.
Absolutely, yeah. First game back here. Hopefully see as many of you as possible, and hopefully cause a nice upset.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again. Here's your manager, Johnnie Jackson.